And the Y'all Show back with you here. Hello, I'm John Rawl. We are covering everything Southern, and it's time for our Music Row Connection to come aboard and give us the latest with what's going on in Nashville, Music City, USA. Preshias Harris is our Nashville Music Line correspondent. And of course, she's the author of I Know Country with 366 daily country music questions that you can go to the website iknowcountry.com and order your own copy. Perfect Christmas gift, by the way. Also, Preshias is a music career development consultant, and she emphasizes new and aspiring artists and songwriters. Her website, College of Songology, as well as Nashville Music Line. And Preshias Harris is on right now to give us the latest from Music City, USA. Hello, Miss Preshias.
Hello, and I hope everyone's doing fine out there today.
We're doing fine. How are you, Miss Mama P?
Mama P is doing good. I got a couple of good news today.
Oh,
I got two more ads for one of my clients, Jersey Shore Radio. And then my other client jumped a couple of spaces up the CDX chart as a songwriter. Then my other client, I found out, hit 775 million. He's my former client because once they get a record deal, I have to hand over the baby, But he hit 775 million impressions this week. So that's really, really good. I'm excited.
Preshias, if you don't mind, could you do a little name dropping on these so-called clients?
I would love to.
Okay.
My songwriting client who just hit, I think there's 375 million streams. I'm sorry, I wish 375,000 streams for an indie artist, which is really good. Is Courtney Bumbacher. She's the songwriter of Uncommon Man, which is a story about their fathers. Her and Dallas Remington is the artist. And my other former client is a kid named Elby Kane, who I actually helped mentor and made sure he didn't eat it by the bottom feeders. And he signed a deal with Broken Bow last year, and he's got a new single out called My Boy. And when you listen to the song and watch the videos, TikTok or YouTube that people have posted, get the clinics ready, just saying. And then my third client that got added by Jersey Shore is his name is Andrew Hobson, and he's from Eastern Kentucky.
All
and
right.
He just two donkeys, which I love it when my kids rescue animals. So, he goes and looks at the charts and he goes back out to take care of the donkeys. I think that's the sweetest thing.
It's sweet, all right. And of course, we wouldn't expect anything but sweetness coming from our Nashville Music Line insider, Preshias Harris. Preshias, since you and I last got back together, there was the CMT Awards. We've got the winners that we're going to reveal right now, but it was the CMT Music Awards, and we've got that winning list. If you have that in front of you, go ahead and rattle off some of the big winners and your thoughts on what happened there in the last couple of days.
Well, I was just thrilled to death that we've got it. Like I said, the CMT Awards is usually in June around CMA Fest, but everybody had adapted to the Zoom and the live show, no audience with the ACM Awards. So when they announced that they were going to have them with no audience, I was very, very excited because even though there's no audience, the fans still need to see the interactions, and the artists who are part of our industry love being able to connect with the fans. And I'm just glad they didn't. They rescheduled it from June. Carrie Underwood was the winner with Drinking Alone. It's a little different for Carrie to have the song, but for her to win Video of the Year, it just goes to show that production does count when you really get to working in a video. And the person that did the video, and I can't, the company forgets me now, but they always have the storyboards and they always have things that help when you get ready to shoot the video, that everything that the artist and that they're trying to convey to their audience as a video and an actual visual of their music is portrayed. And that's really happened. That's one of the reasons. Don't get me up. I wish everybody could have won because there's some great people she was up against, the Tanya Tucker one and Luke's video, and of course everybody loves Kelsey, but I was very, very happy that she won.
And this was an award show that was very video centric, is that right, since it was CMT?
Yes, very video centric.
Okay.
And there's also a couple of legendary thing that happened too that I thought was pretty cool. Female Miss Carrie, of course, won Drinking Alone. Male Video of the Year was everybody's smiley face. He's literally, I can see him behind the face of the Jack in the Box smile. But Luke Bryan won Margarita. Group was Old Dimension, one man band. Duo, of course, Dan and Shay, which I think they won last year for 10,000 hours because, my honey storyboarded it. But I should probably go to bed. They won. And then the breakthrough was Gabby Barrett, I Hope, which I thought was, it was not a surprise because incredible video, incredible lighting, incredible shooting. And of course, you can't deny that Blake and Gwen are like the cutest couple in the whole world. So they won Collaborative Video of the Year. I'm surprised, but once again, they're both the number one song. They were up against the number one song with Carly Pearce and Lee Brice, but they're all winners in my book. It just happened that the one who took home the trophy is Gwen and Blake. And then the performance is from Chris Young. And this was, even though he's had 11 or 12 number one songs, this is the first time he has ever taken home a CMT award. He's been nominated lots, but not taken home an award. So congratulations, Mr. Chris, for Artist of the Year, for the CMT Performance of the Year, which is Drowning, which was about his childhood friend. And then, it was just I wish I could have been there, but nobody could have been there. So I might as well just quit wishing, But I'm just thankful that they got to do the show for the fans, for sure.
All right, that was held October 21st, the CMT Awards ceremony. Precious, I know you often on this program brag about your native state of Kentucky, right? I got a question for you coming off this CMT Awards. What is it about Kentuckians and the desire to take their clothes off? Because that was the real headline coming from the CMT Awards, and you know what I'm talking about.
I would rather be really quiet and be quiet. That's what I'm going to say.
Well, to your defense of Kentucky, I do believe that Cyrus girl probably never actually lived in the state of Kentucky growing up. She's more of a Tennessee girl, so we'll blame that one on Tennessee. I'd never heard of her. I'm sorry. I knew about Miley. I knew about Billy Ray. I knew about Tish. I didn't know there was another one, and I think she's not even a country artist, for goodness sakes.
She isn't. She's never really embraced country, so I was real surprised when that choice was made, which I don't know who were the executives on that. But see, remember, country music is in a place where we're trying to stay above ground. We're bubbling, literally, because of the live music, which is huge for country music and songwriters here in Nashville. But I think it reached out to another, like Kane Brown's had a song with Marshmello, and years ago, before everybody started saying, "What? You're mixing country with what?" Ludacris and Aldean had a duet together. So country music has always reached out to other genres, say, "Hey, we're here. You want to make a record? We're here." So I think that for the popularity of the song, I think that's one of the reasons why she might have been picked. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of talented label mates. Which they did not choose as I know that Jimmy did have a duet with Abby Anderson from Black River. Was it before the pandemic? So I know he said other duets in place, but I would like to know the story behind the song and the story behind the duet on this.
All right, this again, the CMT Music Awards, they were in the past, and if you want a big night, Precious, good news. You might have to tune in tonight, depending on when you're watching and listening to this program, but there's another big night to tell you about, and that's going on here this week as the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum has Big Night at the Museum, and that's live on YouTube. What can you tell us about this? Hello, Precious. Can you tell us about this?
Well, I do know that Miss Tanel Towns, who is an up-and-coming artist, is the host, and she's got her little side, with the hiccups. Miss Carly Pearce is co-hosting with her, and it's to raise awareness for the museum, and they're doing some of the instruments that's on display there, And I think it's to let people know that the museum is back open, still practicing social distancing, still following CDC guidelines. Um, and I know that they've got Tim McGraw is supposed to be there, and because it's going on, I think right now, Kane Brown, Miranda's playing some instruments. I know Ashley McBride's there, so it's to raise awareness of the different. They're actually focusing on the more instrumental displays. So if you get a chance, go to YouTube, and they actually have their own channel. So YouTube, put Country Music Hall of Fame YouTube channel, and you'll bring it up, and it'll say official YouTube channel, and you'll see it. And it's got all different other cool videos of, like, when they're teaching guitar classes, and some interviews they have, and some of the live writers nights. They literally, anything that's videoed out of there, it goes on their YouTube channel. Did I lose you?
All right, sorry about that. That was on my end. Precious, it is the month. Even the master controller has a hiccup from time to time. My apologies.
Hey, do I look like Miss Checky USA? No.
Let me look
No.
at you. Say that again.
No. Hey, I'm the one who lost 3,000 contacts in my phone day before yesterday. Because it said,
Oh, that's the reason you have a new phone, and that's the reason you're looking and sounding better than ever.
yes, it wasn't feeling good on my pocketbook. Just saying. But I didn't go for the 12 like everybody is. I actually wanted the 11 because of the camera. So I actually only went up one little notch but I guess I gotten a virus from what I understand from Apple, and the other two people I called before I even went to get a phone. They basically said, you're screwed. That's what you got to do. And so because I was so sick at my stomach, because I had about 500 calls with no caller ID, and I have 6,200 numbers in my phone, and I had went down to 3,700. So that tells you how sick my stomach was. It's
Hmm.
probably why I'm still queasy today. But I did get some of them back. I just won't know what I've missed until I start looking for things,
Sure.
unfortunately. But thank God I got 2,000 back, which is better than no thousand. So I'm happy.
Precious, we're about to end the month of October, of course. For those who know anything about October in recent years, it's time where a lot of people wear pink in honor of breast cancer awareness. And there's a new song out with Dolly Parton, Monica, Jordan Sparks, Sarah Evans, and Rita Wilson. And there we see the lineup of this array of artists. What more can you tell us about this song that was produced by former Warner Brothers artist Victoria Shaw and co-written with Aaron Kinsey and Jody Marr?
Well, of course, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I am myself a breast cancer survivor. I think it's into my 12 years now, I think. I have to double check because I've survived cancer like 10 times. So I have to double check which one I survived. Uh, but it's a collaboration that all the proceeds benefit the Susan G. Komen Center, because 1 in 8 women in their lifetime will be diagnosed with breast cancer. So it's going to either affect you or someone you love. So it's a way to help raise the funds, because the one thing the biggest thing that Susan G. Komen does besides raise awareness for breast cancer is actually raise funds to help women who might not be able to afford a mammogram, that is having health issues, that things come up. And so I really, really support. There's a lot of charities out there, but there's one that always opens up their books for people to look at and see what they do with their money. It's Susan G. Komen. But just knowing that it'd be able to help. A friend of mine is a breast cancer survivor, and her mother had it, lost her to breast cancer. Her grandmother, she lost to breast cancer. So, and then when she, like I said, one of the biggest things is that Susan G. Komen helped her get her wigs and help her get things to help her go through the process of the rebuilding her life and rebuilding her body after the after effects of breast cancer. So I kudos to Susan G. Komen, and kudos to, of course, everybody loves Miss Dolly. and the other one. So it's a really good mix of different people. You said Rita Wilson, who is Tom Hanks's wife, people across the board in all aspects of the entertainment industry in different genres. So I'm very happy that they came to do this. It was a pleasant surprise when I seen the press release.
And again, the song is called Pink. We are the Y'all Show with Preshias Harris. We're continuing our conversation with the maven of Music Row. Hey, we do have another awards headed your way here this week. It's the GMA Dove Awards taking place, the 51st Dove Awards, and that takes place in Music City this Friday, October 30th, just before Halloween night. You can go out and celebrate gospel music, as this will air 8 p.m. Eastern on TBN, the Dove Awards. Check that out if you're into gospel music these days. Preshias, let's talk about a guy that a lot of people, they just love this fella, and he had a really cool song that was out earlier this year. I think it went to #1, and we don't want to discount the fact that he is a artist that's been around 12, 13 years now and continues to find success on the chart. Jake Owens and his music video also really cool. Tell me more about this Florida State golf alumnus.
Well, I had heard at his #1 party that there was a Kentucky connection,
Uh-oh.
but I know, I never dove into it, or what they call it, dubbed into it, but it's dove into it. Come to find out, his grandfather and his grandmother, which are 97 years old, so I'm thinking, wow, they're almost a century old. They have met in Kentucky by chance. His dad, who is his name is Brian, was hitchhiking from Hopkinsville, Kentucky, which is a long way. I'm talking a fur piece, as they say in Kentucky, over to Mumfordsville, which is about 35 miles as a crow flies from where my dad lives. And he met this beautiful brunette, and he was hitchhiking to the University of Kentucky, and he ended up had to go to the war, and he sent her a penny postcard, and they connected. When he got out of the service, he found out she never married. They connected, and 80 years ago they met. 80 years ago. So if they met 80 years ago, that means their wedding anniversary has to be close to that. I should have asked Jake's publicist, but can you imagine meeting your spouse 80 years ago and you're still alive? So if they're 97, that was 80, that means they were 17 when they met.
Yeah, that'd be
So,
1940, I guess.
Yes, 1940 was it. So that's probably, I mean, that could be in a record for marriage, lengthy marriages in Kentucky. So I was thinking that might, that's something to be proud of for sure. 80 years. I think my grandparents were married 72. So that's definitely a wonderful record.
And that song, Homemade, you're looking at the image from the music video for that chart topper for Jake Owens, Homemade. Speaking of chart toppers right now, Preshias, top the Billboard Country Airplay Top 5. If you take a quick gander at that, Got What I Got, Jason Aldean. He's taken over the Lee Brice spot at #1 with that song. One of Them Girls slips down to #2 for Mr. Brice. #3, Jamison Rogers, Lovin' on You. #4, Luke Combs and Some Girls was Jamison Rogers and Luke Combs, Lovin' on You. At 5, Russell Dickerson, Love You Like I Used To. That's your current top 5 on the Billboard Country Chart. We're going to tell you some of the birthdays and some of the other history of country music for this week in a second, but not until we ask the trivia question, and then we'll wrap up with Preshias Harris. And this trivia question coming from her book, I Know Country. You can get your print or ebook edition of that at iknowcountry.com. And the trivia question, Preshias, do not answer this right now. Put it over there to the side, and you can answer it in a second. Which country artist did Lisa Hartman marry this week in October 1991? If you don't know the answer to that one, we're going to have to check your country music credentials. We'll have that answer. This is actress Lisa Hartman, and she married somebody in the country stratosphere almost 30 years ago, and it's still, their love and marriage is still going strong. So we'll have that answer in just a second. In country music history this week, Roger Miller, King of the Road, passed away in 1992. I remember just like yesterday that happened, Preshias, as we lost Roger Miller.
I know. He was one of my I can remember my mother buying his 45. Dang me, dang me. And I was so sad to hear that because you can always have the records. I used to watch. He was every time you saw him on TV, he made you laugh. And I think it's not been too long ago that I saw him on an edition from mid late 70s of Match Game, and I seen Bill Anderson on Match Game. So that was in LA. So he sort of crossed the genres if you think about it,
Yeah, he
going
did.
country charts to a national television game show.
Yeah.
You know,
Precious, you got to look closely at me for this next one because this is also someone that passed away 13 years ago this week. Okay, are you ready for this visual? Because this country music legend did this a lot. Are you watching me?
I can see a little bit of you, but yes.
Okay. All right. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who used to do that? And they had a message. I think it said "Hi" there in their jacket.
Was it Porter?
It was Porter Wagner.
Yeah.
Porter Wagner died this week in 2007. That also seems like just yesterday. Also in this week in country music's history, go back to 1967, and Tammy Wynette scored her very first number one, "I Don't Want to Play House." That was a big hit for the Tremont, Mississippi native. I just passed through Tremont last week on the Tammy Wynette Highway, by the way. And again, it was nearly 53 years ago, I guess it was 53 years ago, that Tammy had that number one to get her career booming. Country music birthdays this week. It is a birthday week for another great country music legend and a comedian, Minnie Pearl. She was born October 25th in 1912, and so she's almost would have been 108 years old this week, but unfortunately she died in 1996. Mark Miller of Sawyer Brown, the guy that just never gets old, his birthday this week. He was born in 1958. Also, Sugarland's Kristen Hall, born in 1962. Keith Urban, born in New Zealand and not Australia, 1967. So Keith Urban, now 53 years young. And Precious, he's also someone that kind of looks like they're getting younger.
I know. It's got to be a stylist. But
Is that
also,
what it is?
he also, he's always looked young. I mean, he's really not changed a lot. His hair, I think he's very smart to the way he wears his hair. And he doesn't have the smile wrinkles and things like that,
I think
So,
having a beautiful wife also helps out.
yeah.
That's just
And
me, though. That's just me. Precious, also with birthdays this week, the late, great Charlie Daniels was born October 28th of, I don't know the year. Unfortunately, Charlie died July 6th of this year, so a tough year as we lose a legend like Charlie Daniels. Another
86.
birthday boy this week, Brad Paisley. Brad turning 48 years young, and it seems like yesterday he was appearing on Music Row with his great singing and songwriting and playing as well. His T-Nuss with a birthday this week, T. Graham Brown, as T. Graham is now 66 years young. And then lastly, on Halloween Saturday, birthdays for the late Dale Evans, of course, married to Roy Rogers. She was born in 1912, died in 2001. And then Savannah, Tennessee's own Daryl Worley. How have you forgotten? And Tennessee River Run and more. Daryl Worley this Saturday turns 56 years young. And that's a quick look at some of the birthdays in country music. Now, we got to answer that trivia question, Precious, before we get out of here. And that trivia question was, which country artist did Lisa Hartman, the actress, and a singer as well, which country music artist did she hitch this week in 1991?
One of the first people that I got to actually go do a story on for opening up with Alabama Lori Morgan, and it was Clint Black.
Yes, and those two collaborated not only on a marriage, but a big hit song, When I Say I Do. May have even been a number one for them. Clint Black and his lovely bride, Lisa Hartman Black. And Clint, if you follow him on social media, he's been promoting his anniversary all this week. So way to go, Clint, and congratulations on a nearly 30-year marriage, you and Lisa. Way to go. Precious, well, I think we've just about covered it here this week, so I appreciate you coming on, and I look forward to getting you back on here again next week.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this how the Country Music Hall of Fame did tonight. So I'm going to go peek at it on YouTube. If you get a chance to peek at it, we'll see y'all next week.
All right, Preshias Harris, she is our insider on Music Row. And that will conclude this conversation with Preshias, our Nashville Music Line report. We'll see y'all on the next episode of Y'all Talk with a Southern Accent.